WNBA Finals. And so I'll leave it there. I mean, I'm just obviously disheartened. I'm a human too. I have a family. I have 2 kids who are devastated by these comments. And so all I'll say is just, it's obviously been a tough week.
Everyone expected her to just smile, take the hit, and wait her turn. They assumed Caitlin Clark would quietly sit at the end of the bench, happy just to be included, grateful to learn from the veterans. But the WNBA seems to have pushed their biggest star too far, and now the consequences are crashing down like a tidal wave. Rumors are exploding that the golden girl of women's basketball has drawn a line in the sand, allegedly telling insiders she's done with Team USA. And the wildest part? It wasn't only players freezing her out. It was the commissioner herself, Cathy Engelbert, who may have unintentionally confirmed the toxic culture that forced Clark to reevaluate everything. The narrative has shifted completely, from wait your turn to walk away. And if these rumors are real, Team USA is about to lose its most valuable asset on the international stage. The first domino fell with what many now call one of the biggest roster mistakes in sports history. When the Olympic lineup was announced, the one player driving historic ratings, selling out arenas, and generating global attention was nowhere to be found. The committee hid behind the excuse of experience, claiming Clark hadn't paid her dues and that the team needed veteran chemistry. But nobody bought that story for a second. It felt targeted. While the world tuned in for her logo-range threes and electrifying playmaking, the people in charge benched her for the entire summer. It was a loud message to the rookie. You're famous. You're rich. But you're not one of us. And the snub was only the beginning. Once the WNBA season tipped off, Clark became the target of non-stop physical aggression. From blindside hip checks, like the infamous Chindi Carter hit before the ball was even inbound, to shoves, face guarding, and constant excessive contact, it became open season on Clark. But the real problem wasn't the players. It was the silence from the top. The league office refused to protect her. They hesitated to upgrade obvious flagrant fouls, waited until the outrage became too loud, and allowed the narrative to spiral into chaos. Then came the moment that changed everything. In a disastrous CNBC interview, Commissioner Cathy Engelbert tried to downplay the hostility Clark was facing by comparing it to Magic Johnson versus Larry Bird. She smiled through answers about marketing valuation, acting as if the harassment and racially charged fan behavior were just exciting rivalry fuel. Instead of condemning the hate, she packaged it as a business strategy. It was a massive miscalculation. By treating Clark's mistreatment as a monetizable storyline, the commissioner validated Clark's sense of isolation. The message was clear. The league cares more about drama than the well-being of the player driving record profits. The backlash was immediate. The WNBA Players Association had to distance themselves from Engelbert's comments. Stars like Breanna Stewart and Nafisa Collier spoke up to say that hate has no place in the game. But for Clark, the damage was done. She's the reason the league now flies charter. She's the reason arenas are sold out. She's the reason TV ratings tripled. Yet her own boss couldn't even publicly defend her. It's the type of betrayal that forces a star to rethink her loyalty. Then there's the deeper issue, the resentment from the old guard. Team USA has long been a tight circle of veterans, and insiders say some didn't want the Caitlin circus overshadowing their final Olympics. Diana Taurasi had already made comments implying Clark wasn't ready for the real world, a take that aged terribly as Clark led the WNBA in assists and broke rookie records. By blocking her from the roster, the veterans thought they were protecting their legacy. Instead, they alienated millions of new fans. They won gold, but they lost the cultural moment. Now, insiders claim Clark is no longer sad about the Paris snub. She's strategizing. After being benched by the committee, targeted by players, and dismissed by the commissioner, Clark is allegedly pulling back from the entire Team USA pipeline. Not out of spite, but out of self-preservation. She knows her value. She knows she's the ratings machine. If Team USA doesn't want her, she doesn't need them. She's bigger than the system, and she knows it. According to the whispers, she has privately signaled that she has no interest in future Team USA events if the culture stays the same. And if she walks, the fallout will be massive. The national program was counting on her star power for LA 2028. Without her, they lose their biggest ticket seller, their biggest sponsor magnet, and their biggest global draw. Before Clark entered the league, the WNBA struggled to fill arenas and make a profit. Since she arrived, attendance is up over 40%, TV ratings have tripled, and the league secured a historic multi-billion-dollar media deal. The veterans are enjoying private jets and higher salaries because of Clark's magnetism, but many of those same players were the ones freezing her out. Then there's the Sheryl Swoopes factor. The legendary player has repeatedly taken shots at Clark, spreading false claims and constantly minimizing her accomplishments. The league continues to employ her, which only reinforces the idea that the system tolerates disrespect toward its biggest star. In any workplace, publicly lying about a top performer would trigger HR intervention. In the WNBA, it's treated as content. What makes the situation louder is the silence from Clark's camp. Usually, when rumors escalate, an agent steps in with a polished statement. But this time, nothing. That silence speaks volumes. It suggests serious internal discussions, and that Clark realizes she holds all the leverage. She doesn't need the Olympics to be a global icon, but the Olympics desperately need her to stay relevant. Physically, Clark absorbed more hits than any athlete in the league. She played the most minutes, carried the heaviest load, and still pushed Indiana to the playoffs. And after all that, instead of protection, she got indifference. Walking away from Team USA may be her quiet way of saying, enough. The fan base is now divided. Longtime WNBA fans think she's overhyped. Millions of new fans think she's being bullied. The commissioner needed to unite them, but her comments only made the divide deeper. If Clark leaves Team USA, millions of fans will walk with her. The rivalry with Angel Reese has only intensified things. What started as healthy competition has spiraled into a nasty fan and media environment. The league allowed the negativity to escalate because it brought attention. But Clark has never fed into the drama. She stays silent, professional, focused. Yet even the calmest person has a breaking point. The Los Angeles 2028 Olympics were supposed to be the pinnacle of women's basketball, a moment for the WNBA to take over the world. But without Clark, it loses its spark. Team USA will still be good, but not iconic, not transcendent, not culturally dominant. And just as all this unfolds, the WNBA players are preparing to renegotiate their collective bargaining agreement, demanding more money built on the attention Clark brought. If she steps away from the national team and distances herself from league politics, their leverage collapses. You can't demand superstar salaries while attacking the superstar responsible for generating the revenue. There's a tragic side to this too. Clark grew up idolizing Team USA. She dreamed of wearing that jersey. The people she worshipped are now the ones pushing her away. It's a painful loss of innocence and a brutal reminder of how ugly professional sports can be. The selection committee won the gold medal, but they lost the public. They proved they could win games, but they failed to capture the moment. And in modern sports, the moment is everything. Now the commissioner stands at a crossroads. She can fix this, but it will take more than corporate jargon. She needs to genuinely address the disrespect, the toxicity, and the failures in leadership. If she doesn't, these rumors will become reality. Caitlin Clark is no longer the smiling rookie waiting her turn. She is a brand, a business, and a global phenomenon. She knows her worth, and she refuses to be disrespected. The league might have won gold in Paris, but they're on the edge of losing their golden goose. So the real question is Clark right for finally standing up for herself, or should she have stayed quiet and waited for 2028? The answer might shape the next decade of women's basketball. Everyone expected her to smile, sit down, take the hit, and wait her turn like every newcomer before her. They assumed Caitlin Clark would quietly blend into the background, just grateful to be included in the orbit of Team USA and the WNBA's veteran hierarchy. But instead of being embraced as the once-in-a-generation superstar she is, it feels like the league and its leadership pushed too hard, underestimated her importance, and are now dealing with a storm entirely of their own making. The whispers across the basketball world have shifted from mild frustration to explosive rumors that the golden girl of women's basketball is done playing the role of the polite rookie and has privately drawn a line in the sand, sending shockwaves through Team USA, the WNBA, and the entire sports culture surrounding her. What makes the situation even more shocking is that the issue isn't just aggressive players or jealous veterans. It may also involve the commissioner herself, Kathy Engelbert, whose recent comments reignited the fire and unintentionally exposed the growing fractures within the league's culture. The narrative surrounding Clark has shifted dramatically from pay your dues and wait your turn to walk away and protect yourself. And now the biggest question hanging over the sport is whether Team USA is about to lose the single most valuable asset it has for the next generation of global competition. Everything began unraveling with what many analysts now call one of the biggest strategic blunders in modern sports history. Caitlin Clark being left off the Olympic roster despite being the player driving record-breaking TV ratings, historic attendance numbers, and unprecedented international interest in women's basketball. Instead of capitalizing on the most powerful wave of momentum the sport has ever experienced, the committee went with the excuse of experience, arguing that Clark hadn't paid her dues and that the roster needed chemistry. Not a single fan bought that explanation. It felt targeted, political, and petty. While the world tuned in to watch Clark drill logo threes and reshape the very style of the women's game, the people in charge of Team USA decided to keep her sidelined for the entire summer. That decision sent a loud, unmistakable message. You might be famous. You might be the biggest star in the sport, but you are not one of us. Then came the season, and everything got worse. Clark instantly became the target of excessive physical contact, unlike anything fans had seen in years. From the blindside hip check by Chindy Carter, delivered before the ball was even inbound, to repeated shoves, face guarding, intentional bumps, and constant aggressive play designed to knock her off her spot, Clark's rookie year became a non-stop battle just to stay upright. But the biggest problem wasn't the players delivering the hits, it was the silence from the leadership. The WNBA refused to upgrade obvious flagrant fouls, hesitated to punish dangerous behavior, and allowed the narrative to devolve into chaos, while Clark took more hits than any athlete in the league. Only when fans exploded did the league respond, and even then it was timid, inconsistent, and too late. The breaking point came when Commissioner Kathy Engelbert sat down for what has now become an infamous CNBC interview. Instead of condemning the hate, bullying, and racially charged fan behavior swirling around Clark, Engelbert chose to frame it as part of a rivalry marketing moment, comparing the hostility to the iconic Magic Johnson and Larry Bird era. Fans were stunned. Clark wasn't facing competitive banter. She was dealing with targeted aggression, online harassment, and institutional apathy. Engelbert's attempt to turn that into a promotional storyline felt tone-deaf and manipulative, signaling that the league saw Clark less as a human being and more as a branding tool. It was a public relations disaster. The backlash was so intense that the WNBA Players Association had to distance themselves from Engelbert's comments, while stars like Breanna Stewart and Nafisa Collier stepped forward to assert that hate has no place in the sport. But for Clark, the emotional damage had already been done. She is the reason the league now flies charter. She is the reason arenas are sold out. She is the reason TV ratings tripled. And yet, when she needed support the most, her own commissioner could not even speak up on her behalf. Then there is the deeper, darker issue, the generational divide. Team USA has always been a tight inner circle dominated by veteran stars, and insiders claim that several of them did not want what they called the Caitlin Circus, overshadowing their final Olympic run. Diana Taurasi had already dismissed Clark's readiness, claiming she needed to learn how to play real basketball, a comment that aged poorly once Clark led the WNBA in assists and shattered rookie expectations. The veterans thought they were protecting their legacy by blocking her path. Instead, they alienated millions of new fans and turned a simple roster decision into a cultural explosion. They won gold, but they lost the public. And Clark, rather than clinging to disappointment, began to strategize. Insiders now believe Clark is no longer heard about the Olympic snub. She is thinking bigger. After being overlooked by the committee, Physically targeted by opponents, dismissed by the commissioner, and constantly treated as an outsider by veteran players, Clark is allegedly withdrawing from the entire Team USA program. Not out of anger, but out of self-respect. She knows her worth. She knows she is the reason the league's media deals skyrocketed. She knows she is the engine driving every metric of growth. And if Team USA doesn't want her, then she doesn't need them. According to circulating whispers, she has privately signaled to those close to her that she has no interest in participating in future Team USA events if the culture remains hostile, elitist, and dismissive. If this rumor becomes reality, the consequences will be seismic. Team USA is counting on Clark to be the face of the 2028 Los Angeles Olympics. Without her, they lose their biggest ticket seller, their most marketable star, and the one athlete capable of turning women's basketball into a global phenomenon. Before Clark arrived, the WNBA struggled to fill arenas and barely broke even. Since her arrival, attendance is up over 40%. TV ratings are higher than ever. Merchandise is selling out, and sponsors are flooding in like never before. Many of the veterans benefiting from increased salaries, charter flights, and media attention are enjoying an era of prosperity built directly on Clark's popularity, and yet some are the same voices pushing her out of the elite inner circle. Then there's the Cheryl Swoops controversy. The legendary Hall of Famer repeatedly criticized Clark in public, spreading misinformation about her stats and minimizing her accomplishments, while the league continued to employ her in official roles. Fans were stunned. In any normal workplace, a high-profile figure publicly attacking a young star with false claims would result in immediate accountability. But in the WNBA, the league treated it as entertainment. It made Clark feel even more isolated. What amplified the situation even further was the